Who doesn't like change? Out with the old, in with the new. Besides switching an entire fuel system, we're also swapping tranny pans under the bigger is better rule. Stick around, there's a lot more up next on Performance TV.
To another edition of Performance TV. When we think fuel delivery, we think Aeromotive, and Jesse Powell here with us. I think about you guys when it comes to racing, of course, because that's what I'm involved in. But if it's fuel delivery from street to strip, you're doing it all.
We really got our start at the drag strip. But yeah, we're cradle to grave, from fuel pumps to filters to regulators, really from start to finish. That's what we do.
And what are we going to do here today? Because Tommy, is that really a fuel pump you have there?
That's what I'm amazed by, Kathy. When I think of fuel pumps, I mean a big fuel pump,
right.
Big supply, you got a big pump.
Sure.
This is the new age of fuel pumps right here. This does what some of your fuel pumps in the beginning, the big ones did a long time ago.
They were 3-4 times the size. Yeah, we're capable of producing that same amount of flow from this little guy right here.
You gotta love technology. And today we're gonna mount this pump. You've got a factory reproduction fuel tank we're gonna put in this car. Yeah. We're gonna mount this pump. It's gonna be an in-tank pump. No more on the frame, no more big pump hanging off somewhere. This is gonna solve a lot of problems for us.
Yeah, I mean, any time that you're looking to make a conversion to EFI, looking for a LS swap, a mod motor swap into your muscle car, you have an inherent set of challenges. You know, do you put a sump on the tank? Well, now you got to weld on a tank, or
and people don't really like to do that too much.
It makes you a little nervous,
right?
And then you got a sump hanging down out of the bottom. A lot of people don't want to see that. You make a move to a fuel cell. Fuel cells are fantastic. We like them a lot, but you lose trunk space. There goes your sleeper look that a lot of people like, or your classic restoration. So what we want to do, and what we're doing here, is we're going to put the fuel pump in the tank. We're going to control fuel slosh using an innovative baffling system that we can retrofit into virtually any tank. And we're going to eliminate a lot of the hot fuel handling issues like vapor lock and cavitation you hear about on street cars all the time. And we're going to eliminate all that with this one system right here.
That's perfect. I mean, this thing looks great. We're going to put it in this new tank, and look, let's get started. All right, Jesse, the first step of mounting this pump in the tank, this is the mounting ring. It goes on the inside, but we're going to mark the tank where we want to install the pump. We're going to use this to mark it with. Where would be a good idea to put it in the tank?
Well, a couple things you have to look for. Number one is we want to make sure we don't interfere with the factory hanger assembly or factory leveling unit. It has an arm that swings and a float on it. And in this particular tank, you can see that this is offset. This is where it mounts. The float sits out here, so we want to make sure we avoid that.
Okay, yeah, because we're going to use the factory float for our fuel gauge.
Right,
okay.
Right. That all will remain exactly the same. So what we're going to do is we're probably going to go offset it a little bit over here. The reason we're setting it towards the back is we want to make sure we find the deepest part of the tank. And in these old Chevy tanks and a lot of the Mopar tanks, they were shallower towards the back side of the car, and they got deeper as they moved towards the differential. So I think right about here is we're going to mount it.
Now this, you said on the inside of the tank, we want to be able to mount it flush, so these indentations are on the inside would be the flat spots.
Yeah, they'll give us the nice flat spots for mounting them. And if you look there on the side of the tank, you can see where the deepest part is. So we might want to move it up about, I don't know, maybe an inch or so.
Yeah, right in here?
Yeah, that should work.
All right, so we're just going to draw a ring?
Yep, just draw a ring. That'll give us our circle for where we cut.
All right, Tommy, well, while you're going to get that drilled out there, Jesse, you mentioned hanger, and this is what we're going to be putting into the tank here.
Yeah.
Looks pretty long, but hey, this is made for, this is complete universal here.
Yeah, for any tank, really, that's what we designed it for, whether it's a fabricated tank, a fuel cell you have, or any factory style tank. This hanger assembly comes about 18 inches long, which allows you for, really deep tanks all the way down, and we can get it all the way down to 5.5, 6 inches, which is what we're looking at here. This spine, as we like to call it, is where the fuel pump will actually clamp to. And so once we get this cut, we will measure the inside of the tank, what our depth is, and then we'll just cut this to height.
Would everybody want to use a brand new tank, or can we use the tank that we had in the car?
Not necessarily. That's really up to you. In a case like this with this Chevelle, these reproduction tanks are $100 or less. We're looking at this car, that's a 42-year-old tank in there. Who knows what the inside looks like? So for that kind of price, why not just get a nice reproduction? It's a clean start.
For about $100.
Yeah, but for the guys that don't have that option, that's why we designed this, so that you can reuse your factory tank. You do have to clean it out nicely and make sure you do a good job. You don't want a lot of sludge, a lot of things being picked up in there. And you got to be careful also when you're cutting on the tank. There aren't reproductions available for a lot of the street rods and muscle cars that are out there. So what we recommend is to clean it out real good and then actually fill it with water while you're you're doing the drilling on the tank.
That's a good idea.
It does a couple things. It takes the fumes out of the inside of the tank, just in case there were a spark or anything like that. But it also catches a lot of the shavings that we're going to find as we drill into the thing. And then you just rinse it out and you're ready to go.
Jesse, you guys at Aeromotive have thought of everything, all the stuff that comes along with the kit, including an installation tool here.
Yeah, this actually is nothing more than just that, an installation tool. It has a little register on the bottom here that will fit right down in the hole. And then it has these pilot holes here that Tommy will then drill for the installation ring. The installation ring goes inside the tank, and the studs then come up through those holes, and that's what the hanger assembly then bolts to.
All right, well, we'll get that over to Tommy. He's going to get those holes drilled, and we'll have more and finish this job up when we come back with more of Performance TV.
This edition of Performance TV, presented by Low Carb Performance Products, is being brought to you by Power Curve, metal and fuel treatments, and by Expel, drive a new car every day, and by ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
Welcome back, Performance TV. I've got all the holes drilled. I took a vacuum and a magnet and got all of our shavings out. Now it's time to measure to see how deep our tank is. It's about 6.5 inches. Here you go. You guys can get busy cutting that. I'm going to go ahead and install this mounting ring.
All right, Jesse, so and he wanted to make sure that he measured at the shallowest part of the tank.
Shallowest part, right, to make sure if we cut it too long, then we'd end up, having trouble installing.
Okay, so he said 6.5 inches. Now, how do we want to measure on our spine here?
Well, let's start by looking at what's the maximum, which is going to be 6.5. So we'll go ahead and measure that out. And that's right about there. So go ahead and make a mark at 6.5 inches.
All right, we got our 6.5 inches.
That'll be where the bottom of our fuel pump will sit, the filter there, and then we will actually cut up a little bit higher than that.
Okay, and what about this? And we want to explain this a little bit.
Yeah, on this, the foam and rubber baffle basket, we're actually going to cut that a little bit longer. The reason is we wanted to have a little bit of compression inside the tank to help hold that in place. So we're going to look at cutting that about 1 inch taller than our minimum depth, which was 6.5 inches, so
All right.
7.5 or so.
So you want to measure off 7.5 for me there? And we're about right there. Hey, Tommy, got this all measured out for you. If you could get that cut off there.
I'll get it.
Okay, we're going to come over here. We've got it set up so we can cut the spine off here. And Jesse, we changed the up a little bit so that way we'll get it on here.
Now we're going to take a look here. I made a mark here on the pump. We're going to take another measurement and make sure our fuel pump's mounted at the appropriate height. And we'll take these clamps and we'll install the pump on the hanger.
Well, I've got this foam cut off to go in our tank, and this installation ring here does two purposes. It gives us pilot holes, and it also has a little Venturi effect here, so it helps install this foam in here. It slides right in. I've got the baffle foam all installed, and you guys got that fuel pump ready?
That's right. It's all ready to drop down in there, Jesse, but we're going to make sure we get that all sealed up first.
Yeah, absolutely. This gasket assembly sits right down on top of there, and you'll notice it's awful thick. Well, it's thick for a reason. Most of these old tanks had a corrugated top like you see here with these ribs, and we have to accommodate that because we've got a flat surface on top of here. So this is a fuel-resistant neoprene type material that will squish down nice and tight along here and give us a nice tight seal all the way around.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and give you this new Aeromotive pump here. I'm going to go ahead and get the tools to get the old mechanical pump off, and we got a block off here and get that all taken care of.
All right, Jess, you got this gasket on here. Now, the pump, is there a certain angle or a certain position it needs to go in?
Well, you just want to make sure we've got a feed, a vent, and a return line port on here. And we want to make sure that we put those in the best location possible, pointing towards the front of the car.
We're going to run our lines
so the
that
lines
way.
go right, yeah.
Perfect.
So nothing too difficult, but we'll just kind of slide this down in here.
Yeah, because we're going to feed this way. You don't want to run the lines all the way around.
Right, all the way around the tank, yeah.
All right, we got the pump all installed. We got our old tank out. Now, what we got left?
Yeah, we got the old tank out, so we need to use the old float assembly here.
That's right. We're going to go ahead and slip this down in here. New O-ring, new lock ring here. Just might as well give ourselves a nice tight seal.
Yeah, once we got that in, we're going to put our lines on here before we put it up there. And make some electrical connections, so once it's up in there,
Right, go ahead and get our lines on, our pump wiring, and our sending unit wires attached. And then we'll also use some high-density foam. It's got a one-side stick here. We're going to put some here and here, just to give it a little bit of a standoff so that this isn't resting against the trunk floor.
Let's get this on here and let's get it in. Got our fan B&M fuel system, new pump in the tank put in. We ran some braided lines up front. We took off the old mechanical pump up here. We topped it all off with this Aeromotive fuel log. And what did you say this was, Jesse?
It's a carbureted regulator that regulates anywhere between 3 and 20 psi. It is a bypass style regulator, return style.
So that's where our return line will hook up.
Yep, we'll run a return line all the way back to the tank.
All right, so all we got left here is to hook up our braided lines that we ran up to here, and this project will be finished.
Hey, Tommy, I think one more thing. You don't want to forget your Aeromotive inline fuel filter here.
It's going right down here.
Okay, cool. Well, this and so much more you can find by hopping on Aeromotive's website, aeromotiveinc.com. Jesse, thanks for coming in. We appreciate this.
Thank you.
We're going to have another project coming up next on Performance TV. Welcome back to Performance TV. And as you can see, Tommy over here is already getting our tranny fluid drained out for our next project. What we're going to do is we're hoping to add some extra life to the transmission and converter on this 2000 F250 by adding a nice new tranny pan, extra capacity from the folks at B&M Racing and Performance Products. Now, this transmission pan, it has drain plug already installed in it, but something that we kind of noticed over here and Tommy's being able to take advantage of, most production vehicles nowadays don't have a drain plug in them, and you just have to take the pan off and kind of deal with it, but we're lucky that this one does back here. For you guys at home that are going to be installing something like this, the addition of a drain plug, if you didn't have one, man, that saves a whole lot of headache of installing this. Comes with a brand new gasket and all of the hardware here that we need to put it in, and I say we go ahead, get this pan changed.
All right, Kathy, I got the oil drained out of the old pan. Nice to have that drain plug in there.
Yeah.
So when you pull it down, it doesn't splash all over you.
Drip everywhere.
All we got to do now is just pull these bolts out. This is a pretty easy install. I mean, you really don't even have to be a mechanic to be able to do this. You can take some bolts out and put some new bolts in, you're probably good to go.
Yeah, there are a few directions here and there that you want to make sure that you read, but other than that, it is pretty simple. We're not going to reuse these bolts. The B&M kit actually came with all new bolts.
Yeah, it comes with all the hardware, drain plugs, new gasket, new bolts, washers, everything you need to install. I'll have you hold this just in case it decides to come down when I get the last bolt out, but I'm sure we'll have to
pry it off there.
Yeah. I don't see any leaks up here, so.
Nope.
Looks like it's been good and sealed.
And that looks like that's it.
Oh, nice, look at that.
Now that Tommy has the old pan out, one of the things that you would want to do no matter what, hey, you got the pan off, we're going to put new fluid in, is you would want to change your tranny fluid filter. In this case, it's going to be a necessity because with the different shape of the pan, with our new B&M, this filter is actually held in. By it sitting in the bottom of the pan. And if you weren't to change the filter and put in the one that they give you the part number for in the B&M instructions, well, you'd probably hit a bump and be losing your filter real quick. There goes your tranny and converter. Went ahead, we've got our gasket on here with a little bit of sealer to kind of hold it in place. And Tommy, are you ready to put this new pan on?
I'm ready.
Slide it on under here.
All right, first of all, we got to put the new filter in here. And it doesn't bolt in or anything, it just slides in. It's got a little rubber seal on it, all the way in, nice and tight. All right, Kathy, let's slide this new pan up there, put some bolts in it. All right. Good, start. Whoop.
There we go.
Once we get all these bolts in there, to put a 10 foot-pounds of torque on them.
Okay.
That'll keep you from over-tightening. It'll smash the gasket. Last thing you want to do is put a nice pretty pan on here and let it leak.
Yep, once we get all those torqued, we'll go ahead and start putting some tranny fluid in it.
Well, we're going to put the drain plug in it first.
Yeah, you might want to do that, which is a magnetic one too.
It also has a outlet on the side, so you can install a cooler or something like that, put it on the side.
All right, Tommy, you get those torqued. What was that again?
10 foot-pounds.
10 foot-pounds. And I'm going to put the plug in on the side over here, which, as you mentioned earlier, hey, if you did want to add an external tranny cooler, which isn't a bad idea, go in right here. And our magnetic drain plug. Okay, the next thing we need to do, go ahead and get our fluid in here. Now, it's recommended that we start off by putting in 7 quarts, which Tommy is doing back here.
Well, he's trying to.
Once we get our 7 quarts in, We're gonna hop in, we're gonna fire her up, put her in neutral. We're gonna go ahead and add more until it gets up to the add mark on the dipstick. You got it?
Yep.
At that point in time, we'll go ahead and run it all through the gears. We'll get underneath the truck, make sure that we don't have any leaks anywhere, and then we'll go ahead and fill it up to the full mark. And this project is done.
Yeah, like the drain plug isn't tight or something.
Yeah, like the drain plug isn't tight. Yeah, like
Who put that in?
I know that's tight. We'll have an industry update next on Performance TV. Like I wouldn't have the drain plug tight.
Just saying.
This edition of Performance TV, presented by Lokar Performance Products, is being brought to you by Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener. And by The Little Power Shop, we will not be undersold. And by Bruin Brake Cables, made in the USA, certified.
Here on Performance TV, we do a lot of stuff where we're working on trucks, we're trying to reach here in the back. It's difficult. These stools aren't very safe. But on this week's industry update, Tommy, you've got something that we have been needing for a very long time.
I do, Kathy. This is the elevator by Nomad Manufacturing. I mean, it's a creeper that allows you to hover above. Everybody's had a creeper you go underneath a vehicle. This allows you to work on a vehicle that's high. You can lean right in. You can lock it into place. And work on your car, work on the truck, get right in here, not have to be leaning over the front end, worried about scratching it. And it's difficult, hard on your back when you're leaning over here with something heavy, especially a turbo, trying to set it in here. This is very nice. It's got a nice pad on it. You can lift it up. It's got a little tool tray right here for tools. You can work on your vehicle, not have to lose anything, not have to get up and down. Nice, it's comfortable. I mean, it's relaxed. You're not stressing yourself working on a car in here.
Yeah, fully adjustable. It's lightweight, up to 350 pounds you can put on here. And of course, you got your little flying platform here, wheels that lock for safety, and so much more. Guys, you need one of these at home in your shop, and you can find out how to get one of the elevators. All you have to do is hop on their website, nomadmfg.com. Get yourself an elevator.
This week's ARP Quarter Mile Quiz question comes from Steve in Michigan. Steve wants to know, what makes ARP fasteners the best? What materials are used, and what's the process?
We use a variety of materials, from 8740 to ARP 2000, the multi-phase, and we use all better than aerospace grade materials. The reason that they are the best, and we certainly strive to be the best all the time, is that we do all of our machining after heat treatment, which gives you precision dimensions and sizing, and we also do our thread rolling after heat treatment, which will give you about 1,000 times greater fatigue life than your average grade 8 fastener.
If you have a question for the ARP Quarter Mile Quiz, send it to the address on the screen. If we use your question on the air, you'll receive an ARP Quarter Mile Quiz shirt.
Who doesn't like nitrous?
Go juice, man, go juice.
It's a cheap way to make a little horsepower for your car. You know, maybe hide it, not let people know that you have a little extra horsepower.
Or in this case, you know, a lot of horsepower. This system from Nitrous Express, this Proton module and this whole kit here, up to 150 horse, just this simple.
Nitrous can get elaborate. What I like about this kit, it's very simple, easy to install. Even a novice mechanic can put it on. I mean, it comes with a 10-pound bottle with the billet aluminum valve here. They have all different size bottles. If you want to hide one, you've got the space requirements. Do you need a smaller bottle? They've got those, but this one is a 10-pound bottle. Comes with all the braided lines, your supply line from your nitrous bottle. Comes with this one here. You tap into your fuel supply. Goes right to this Proton module. It comes with all the wiring harness, the relays. This is your master switch for turning the system on and off.
That's right, your wide open throttle.
Wide open
switch.
throttle.
Your lines come right into your shark nozzle here. And Tommy, this is where we're going to change our jets out, whether for nitrous or gas. The card that comes along with the Proton kit.
Change them however fast you want to go.
Exactly. This kit starting at under 400 bucks.
I like that, cheap horsepower.
Absolutely. You want to find out more about this and other things at Nitrous Express? NitrousExpress.com.
Bodie, you're known for building cars for celebrities. First of all, what's that like?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I was trying to get Tim Allen over here right now because we were just walking around SEMA with him. You know, it's amazing. I would have never thought 20 years ago when I started building cars that it would have taken me to where I am now.
What was the inspiration to get you started in custom hot rods?
My dad and his 57 Chevy, and I dated a girl once and her dad was really heavy into the old stuff. it was a bug that was planted in my head forever, and I just wanted to keep going and going and going, and I started seeing how I wanted to build things, and now it's all about building all these crazy cars.
What are you known for?
That's kind of hard because I put myself into a little bit of every car. The 60 Starliner we built and we're very well known for with the GT motor. I would like to say that's our style. It is our style, but the thing that's special about that is it got us to where we are today, and it put a name out there for us, especially when we won SEMA.
You've got a radio show, and I hear TV shows coming up too.
My radio show, which you guys sponsor, thank you very much. It's called In the Garage. It's every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, crntalk.com. Now people will think I'm crazy, but I'm going to be tricking out motorhomes. And then also, we're doing a 68 Camaro for Tim Allen.
He's a custom car builder and apparently a custom RV builder. This is Bodie Stroud, and this is his car life.
This week's industry update coming to you from the folks at thedieselstore.com. And Tommy, we like to talk about stepping up with high performance.
Everybody loves high performance stuff, but Kathy, they also have the stock OEM replacement stuff. You know, here we have the LL7. That is for the Duramax 01 to 04 models. The OEM LLY. I mean, it's for the 05 Duramax models. So if you have a stock truck and it's got an injector problem, call them up. They've got them in stock.
Yeah, that's right. Check them out online. Now, if you're looking for something for your 03 to 04 Dodge Cummins 5.9, the Common Rail injection pump, along with their Common Rail injectors. Now, when you pair these two together, this is going to flow 17% more over stock, and you're going to add 50 horsepower with just the step alone. Now, Tommy, if you want some real high performance, they also have a 90 horsepower option available as well. And you talked about Duramax over here.
These are coming in Duramax. Stay tuned for the high performance model of the Duramax.
Absolutely. And all you have to do is check them out for this and so much more at thedieselstore.com. And that's this week's Industry Update.